All right, time to get historical here. James Coe here with Elliot Harrison. Elliot, we're talking top 5 Jags.
Man, you woke up. I tell you what, good to hear from you. Hey, Mark Brunell, it's great to see him play for the Jacksonville Jaguars. People forget how good this football team was from 96 to 99.
Pretty
James
good.
made the playoffs every year, made the AFC Championship game twice. Mark Brunell, a big part of it, very mobile early in his career. Don't think of the Mark Brunell that you saw in Hard Knocks with the Jets. Okay, he was 40. Think of that Mark Brunell.
Who was protecting Mark Brunell's backside there?
Well, he didn't do it for very long because of injuries, unfortunately. But when he played, Tony Boselli was dominant. I talked to Walter Jones, at the Hall of Fame, the great Seahawks left tackle.
Sure.
And he told me watching Boselli against the Bills in the playoffs made him really appreciate being a technician as a left tackle. Yes, and patterning his
That's a
game
great story.
after that. You bet. And let me tell you, Tony Boselli, fantastic in a shortened career, but I try not to penalize him too much for that because the Jacksonville Jaguars have only been around for 20 years, and this guy is up for the Hall of Fame. So,
A 5-time Pro Bowler, Tony
You bet.
Boselli. At number 3, our very own. Now, how is this dude at number 3? I got to ask. Maurice
Why
Jones.
are you saying he shouldn't be that high? I think Maurice Jones-Drew absolutely deserves to be this high. Let me tell you what I like about MJD as a player.
All right.
Number one, he had no problem getting in there and blocking.
Right.
Okay, I saw him several times on
Blowing
blitz
dudes
pickups.
up.
My first year in television, covering football, I worked with Sean Merriman. And boy, did we run that block that MJD had on Sean Merriman over and over and over again because it was just too much fun. The other thing about MJD, obviously, led the NFL in rushing. If you don't know that, look up 2011. There it is right there, 1,600 yards. And I like the way that he did it. He had wiggle. He could bowl over you if he needed to. And he had good explosion, maybe not to the hole, but through the hole.
Maurice Jones, you're sitting here quiet like.
Nice. I like
just
it.
Yeah, you were very, in my mind, and I hope this comes out the right way, but you reminded me a little bit of Michael Turner, the way that you ran. I know you guys were a little different.
We're similar style.
But you were patient. You let your block set up. But once your block set up, boom, you got through there.
Mojo, can you tell this dude why he's wrong? Why are you at 3, bro?
You know, that's his opinion. But I think, to be honest with you, all those guys that you have on this list, I've learned a lot from. So it's pretty good. But I have a couple records that still stand in Jacksonville.
He does. And one thing, too.
Yeah.
And I had a shortened career, so I'll take it.
Yes, and he finished with the Raiders for 1 year. And what I was trying to do here is the best Jags, not necessarily the best players that wore a Jags uniform. Carnell Lake played for the Jags. Carnell Lake was a great player, but he only played a couple years for the Jags. I couldn't do guys like that. One last thing on MJD.
Please.
It's very difficult to come into the league and have a player of the caliber of the other running back in that backfield. It's great to learn from the guy, but it's also tough because you're never going to be the man your first couple years. And for running backs, those first couple years are when you put up big numbers.
Yeah,
look
big
at
time.
Adrian Peterson.
Right.
Look at Eric Dickerson's
Right.
first 2 years in the league. So let's talk about that number 2 guy.
Who was
Go
it?
ahead.
All right,
Go ahead.
How about Freddie Taylor?
Freddie Taylor, man. Love him.
Yeah.
MJD, I want to get your thought. All I want to say about Fred Taylor is I thought the injury rap was a little bit overblown with this guy. He ran tough. He was a hard-nosed, clutch player and very explosive, man. I always just marveled at how quickly he could get going. But you would know better than me, sir.
So I guess the biggest thing for me was, his knowledge of the game, obviously, one, but two, when you talk about slow to the hole and bursting through, that's where I got it from in Fred Taylor. And this guy was a versatile player, can play receiver, he can do a lot of things. And people don't know that he weighed in at 230 pounds.
That's amazing.
So he did all that and ran a 4.2. So you're talking about a freakish athlete who can run away. He's run away from Rod Woodson right there, one of the fastest guys in the league. Those are the type of things that you saw from Fred day in, day out. And he was just an animal about it.
I'm a little country to say this, James, but Fred Taylor was dope.
Franchise record, 11,271 yards. How about Jimmy Smith, though? You have him at number 1. I think it's a bit of a controversial pick, no?
It might be, but you know what? I'm going to defend it for you right now. I've got the numbers here, but you want the numbers, I'm going to give them to you. There's 5 straight Pro Bowls, led the NFL in receptions with 116 in 1999, over 12,000 yards. And then, dude, Jimmy Smith, when you needed a big play, he could beat any corner in the league. Yes. I heard Chris McAllister of the Ravens said that the problem covering Jimmy Smith, he said the post looked like the out, looked like the slant, everything looked the same. So how do you defend it?
I think he was one of the better players that he did the first thing that you see Antonio Brown do, the one-step hitch. He could do that and get you 15, or he could go 70. So, I mean, when you have a guy like that, it makes it tough for DBs to cover you. I missed him by 1 year, so he's definitely one of those guys you always hear people talk about his playmaking ability. Start off with the Cowboys.
Maurice Jones-Drew, Elliot Harrison, James Cole.
And
We're
there's your
out.
top 5.